I'm Eric Valfors, a musician and founder of SoundCloud. Yeah, music is definitely part of my life. I mean, my mother, she conducts a choir, she plays the organ, sort of hooking up the synthesizer and started to make music with that. And that's how I got into both computers and music from very early on. Yeah, so we were thinking about different ideas and eventually we settled on this sort of very strong, simple concept, a notion of making sounds tangible, to make them visual, to make them social. And that's sort of the idea that still today is, is at the centerpiece of SoundCloud. I find inspiration in the city, I find inspiration in art, in fashion, in music, and I bring that back to technology, and I think that's why I really love being in Berlin as well, because you have all of those components and there is a tension, there's an interesting tension. And I don't think I could work with, within the one or the other. I need both. Today, avant-garde is, for me, is about bold ideas. It's about challenging vision. It's about thinking outside of the box and living that. So that would be avant-garde for me today. It's not necessarily an artist, it's not necessarily a thinker, but it's somebody who lives through new ideas. I met Ipe in 2001 through a friend of mine. We right away meet on that level and start talking about crazy ideas and really fun things. He just brings these things together, disparate things, and combines them in new ways, and that inspires me a lot. I think he's a great guy. I remember when Ipe first told me that he was going to create a new sport, and I thought, you have to be joking. It's such an endeavor trying to create a whole new sport and everything around it and push it. But at the same time I thought, Ipe is one of these crazy people that is crazy enough to do something like that.
Chess boxing is the combination of the #1 fighting sport combined with the #1 thinking sport. 11 rounds, 6 rounds of chess, 5 rounds of boxing, alternating rounds of chess and boxing. You win by either checkmate or knockout. Ultimately, we create the smartest, toughest man on the planet. I was inspired by a comic called The Cold Equator by Enki Bilal. And in this comic you see 2 men fighting for 12 rounds. Heavyweight boxing and then playing a grandmaster game of chess which lasts like 4 to 5 hours. And I was always fascinated by the idea. But of course I had to change the idea to make it into something that would be entertaining in real life and that would function like in the 21st century. Chess boxing was developed as an art performance, but I always wanted it to have this touch of realness. So that's why we said it's going to be a real fight, it's going to be real boxing, we're going to train even harder, seriously, getting a chess coach and a boxing coach. Because the reaction is so honest, there's no irony, everybody was so excited and said, okay, this can work in reality. And that for me was the moment that I said, okay, this has to become real. So we pulled it out of the art world and we said, okay, this is just a real sport. There was no sport that ever combined the physical and the mental part in such a radical way. It makes me very humble because you created something that people really truly enjoy. And that is really, really beautiful. I always think that's amazing.